you can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right.
When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White continues to plunge.
Literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
This is insane. Chicken
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how bad it is right now.
But it says, meanwhile, over in the Kingdom of Crumbling Crowns, Disney's Snow White dropped like an enchanted apple.
What they really mean is they're describing a worldview that hates you, that hates everything America stands for.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
She doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
Well, we all basically knew that Snow White was going to be a massive failure at the box office because of Rachel Zegler's controversial statement.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
I don't think they're gonna buy it. I don't think they're gonna watch it. I don't think they're gonna like it.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight. And it's pretty hysterical, actually, to watch.
Rachel Zegler is a loudmouth dope. We're talking about ultra-far leftists, people who believe that men and women are a figment of your imagination, that your money is not your own, that your family is not your own, and that your country is not your own. That's what woke me.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point.
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to live-action remakes.
Chicken
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
Big mouth Rachel Zegler totally lost it after seeing the opening numbers for the Minecraft movie and realizing it crushed Snow White at the box office. You're not gonna believe this. Disney basically lit itself on fire and handed the win to a bunch of pixelated blocks. That's right. While the House of Mouse kept pushing its sloppy live-action Snow White, Minecraft stormed in and wiped the floor, making Disney's latest flop look like a bad high school project on YouTube.
So, it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected. And now we're finding out that Snow White has officially crossed $160 million.
Critics were sure Minecraft would crash and burn. They called it too simple, too childish, too blocky to ever make it big in theaters. But guess what? The movie exploded with a massive $300 million global opening, turning all those expert predictions into a total joke. And Snow White? It barely crawled to $77 million after weeks in theaters. Yep, you heard that right. Even with Disney's massive marketing and non-stop hype, the movie flopped. Hard. Like, let's just pretend this never happened. kind of bad.
Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
Here's the real kicker. Disney thought they could coast on nostalgia and ignore every warning fans gave them. Turns out, trashing your own fairy tale isn't the best way to sell movie tickets. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Stick around, because what's coming next includes total boardroom panic, wild blame games, and a lead actress who somehow forgot she's playing one of the most iconic characters in movie history.
Turned over $157 million while earning another $144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's a $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion.
Now let's talk about Rachel Zegler, the loud, self-important newcomer at the center of this whole mess. For some reason, Disney thought it was a genius idea to cast someone who openly trashed the original Snow White. Yeah, the same Snow White that built Walt Disney's legacy, launched the entire Disney empire, and is still loved all over the world. But to her, it's just old-fashioned. Nice going, Disney. You handed your most iconic role to someone who treated the classic like it belonged in the trash. Fans didn't hold back either. Social media exploded with complaints, saying Zegler turned the movie into a lecture instead of a fairy tale. In interview after interview, she slammed the original story for being outdated, completely missing what made it magical in the first place.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platforms. Kind of tough.
Like anyone asked to be scolded in the middle of a fairy tale. Imagine showing up excited to see a new take on Snow White, only to watch the lead actress mock everything you grew up loving. Brilliant move, right? Now let's be real. Zegler didn't tank the whole movie by herself, but her tone-deaf comments definitely poured gasoline on the fire. You'd think Disney would step in, coach her a bit, maybe give her some decent PR advice. Nope, they just let her keep talking, saying the original Snow White was broken and needed to be fixed. And guess what? Disney fans weren't having it. They didn't want some fresh face rewriting their childhood. They wanted someone who respected the story. Instead, they got lectures, eye rolls, and a whole lot of empty theater seats.
She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
Oh my God.
She's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill. But there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely sabotage your work.
Disney's top execs stayed weirdly silent, just letting the disaster unfold. Like they had no clue why fans were so upset. There was a time when Disney was untouchable, the king of family movies. Now, they're like that out-of-touch uncle who won't stop talking about the good old days while trying to force everyone to drink kale smoothies at a birthday party. Look, updating old stories isn't always a bad thing, but when Disney rewrites its classics so much that you barely recognize them anymore, that's when you know something's gone way off track.
So you had the marketing material not being all that good. A lot of advertisements were really mediocre for this film, and to top it off, they made tons of changes and they strayed away from the source material, which upset a lot of fans.
Insiders say this Snow White disaster was doomed from the very beginning. The script got rewritten over and over, each version worse than the last, stuffed with clumsy modern messages. They were so busy patting themselves on the back for being progressive, they forgot the most important part of any movie, a story people actually care about. Instead of keeping the magic and charm of a fairy tale, they shoved in messages so obvious, it felt like they were hanging political posters in the background.
This is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
President Rachel Zegler also posted, F Trump kinds of posts on social media. She also said that she hoped that Trump supporters, quote, never know peace.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you by an ugly woman for 2 hours.
The few fans who actually showed up to early screenings said the movie didn't feel like a magical adventure. It felt like a boring lecture. So how did Disney respond? By doubling down on the lectures. Now they're stuck with the results, a humiliating box office flop and a very public slap in the face. But hey, at least they get to say they were forward-thinking, right? Meanwhile, while Disney was busy shooting itself in the foot, the Minecraft movie was out there printing money like it was going out of style.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again. Minecraft movie was a big winner, debut weekend, $300 million.
Critics rolled their eyes, saying it was just another video game movie. What they missed is that Minecraft has fans of all ages, little kids on tablets, teens streaming on YouTube, and adults who've been building block worlds since day one. Who knew? Giving people a fun, drama-free adventure is actually the secret to winning big.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform, it is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids movie should be.
The theaters were packed. Some showings were so loud, it felt more like a rock concert than a movie. No joke. Things got so wild, the cops had to show up and escort a few kids out because they were just having way too much fun.
Okay,
and the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event where people are going to just be part of something to interact with the movie itself. The kind of thing that really creates like a kinetic movement.
And guess who's front and center in the voice cast? Jack Black. Yeah. He's said some wild stuff over the years, but when it comes to bringing big laughs and crazy energy, the guy delivers. He knows how to fill seats. Audiences instantly connected with the movie's fun, lighthearted vibe, and loved how it actually stayed true to the game's spirit, something Disney probably should have done with Snow White. And here's the kicker. Critics gave it a weak 40% on review sites, but real people, they gave it a solid 87%. That says it all.
You can see here the Minecraft movie is 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87% audience score. That's kind of all that matters because these people pay the bills, these people don't.
So, who's out of touch now? This is what happens when studio execs stop preaching and just let creators tell fun, entertaining stories. Critics can complain all day, but the people buying tickets have spoken, and their wallets are louder than any snobby review. It's 2025, and Hollywood's just now realizing that preachy politics don't pack theaters. Look, nobody hates a good message, but audiences want it done with a little class, not slammed in their face like a wrecking ball. Still, studios keep pumping out these lesson of the week movies, then act surprised when nobody shows up. Snow White is just the latest victim. Instead of trusting the original story, full of courage, kindness, and heart, Disney thought it needed a full makeover to impress Twitter. Big mistake. Huge. Now they're stuck with a super expensive lecture that fans find boring, annoying, and totally out of touch.
This movie exists, by the way. You can't tell me Minecraft is the worst movie of 2025 when Snow White exists. That's right. Minecraft movies are going to make more in the weekend than Snow White's made in its entire theatrical run, and we know why.
On the flip side, Minecraft took off because it didn't try to preach. It respected the audience and just delivered good old-fashioned fun. Want to see pixelated zombies chasing your favorite blocky hero? Boom. You got it. Looking for a fun, feel-good adventure the whole family can enjoy? Say no more. No surprise it's raking in the cash. So, what's the takeaway here? Trying to force woke messages down people's throats isn't exactly a winning strategy.
Teens in suits shouting lines, cheering like it was a concert. Check out the energy. Unreal. Disney Snow White is flopping hard. Why did Minecraft win? Because they stayed true to their actual audience. If Disney had made a faithful adaptation to the original Snow White, it would have made $1 billion.
Now let's get back to the star of this whole disaster, Rachel Zegler, the walking example of how not to promote a movie. Is that totally fair? Maybe not. She's not the one writing the script or calling the shots behind the scenes. But let's be real, she made it way too easy to blame her. And with the way she ran her mouth in interviews, Disney had no problem letting her take the fall.
Itself. We keep blaming Rachel Zegler, and she's an easy scapegoat. And I think they're scapegoating her on purpose. But the entire movie was trash. All of Rachel Zegler didn't write Snow White. Rachel Zegler didn't cast Snow White. The studio did. It's a Disney problem. Disney did these things.
Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
Insiders are whispering about tense meetings at Disney HQ, where execs are busy pointing fingers at each other. Some are angry that Rachel Zegler's early interviews turned fans off before the movie even hit theaters. Others say someone should have stepped in and shut down her press tour after the first few PR disasters. Either way, it's one giant blame game. And Zegler, she's still doubling down, pushing the whole modern version message to an audience that clearly isn't buying it. Then there's the casting drama. A Colombian-American actress playing a character famously described as having skin white as snow.
The reason Snow White is called Snow White in this version of the film, because of course she is not white as snow, is because she and her family go through a snowstorm and survived the snowstorm, and so it's a mark of her resilience. That's why she's called Snow White.
Disney said it was about being inclusive, but longtime fans saw it as a slap in the face to the original story. Whether you agree or not, it sparked a non-stop debate that drowned out anything the movie might have done well. For a company that's usually strict about controlling its image, this felt like a rookie mistake. Sure, you could call Snow White a one-off flop, but fans see a pattern. Disney's been slipping. And the box office doesn't lie. They've been cranking out live-action remakes that either bomb from controversy or flop because they're just plain boring. But this time, they messed with a timeless classic, forced in a message nobody asked for, and sent an unprepared lead to handle the spotlight. To make things even worse, a Hollywood insider says there's serious fighting happening behind the scenes. Some top execs are furious at the marketing team for not changing course when fans first started complaining about the casting. Others are blaming the writers, saying they completely ignored what test audiences were trying to tell them. And stuck in the middle of all this mess, Disney's once shiny brand, now looking pretty beat up thanks to a string of bad calls that make the company look, well, kind of clueless. It's almost funny. A giant company brought down by its own ego. Snow White was supposed to be a safe, easy win. But they pushed too hard with all the preaching, and it totally backfired. And now look at this. A pixel-style video game that started as a tiny indie project just crushed Disney's big, expensive fairy tale remake. You can't even make this stuff up. The message from moviegoers? Loud and clear. They want fun, not a lecture. Minecraft gave them exactly that, and when critics trashed it, all it did was make people even more curious to go check it out. Meanwhile, Disney is left licking its wounds, trying to figure out how they managed to mess up something as simple as Snow White. And now everyone's asking, what's next for Disney? Are they going to keep rewriting classics into preachy, watered-down lessons? Or will they finally hear what audiences have been shouting for years? Respect the original story. Stop talking down to the people who actually show up and buy tickets. And as for Rachel Zegler, who knows? Maybe she'll bounce back with a better role in a movie that doesn't treat its roots like old junk. Or maybe she'll keep playing the misunderstood hero while the audience sees her as the villain. But one thing's clear. After this mess, fans are done with the lectures. They want stories, not speeches. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think about this wild ride.